Snails, exploring their biology, ecology, and conservation. Snails emerge as one of the most intriguing and frequently neglected players in the rich fabric that is the natural world. The spiraling shells of these gastropods, along with their slow and deliberate movements, are indicative of the astonishing variety of forms and functions that they possess. As we explore the fascinating world of snails through the prism of scientific inquiry, we invite you to accompany us on an enthralling trip into the fascinating world of snails. We will uncover the complexities of their biology, ecology, evolutionary history, and conservation issues. Gastropoda is a diverse group of mollusks that includes hundreds of species that can be found in many different locations around the world, including freshwater, marine, and terrestrial environments. Snails are members of this class. Within this category, snails are further subdivided into a wide variety of families, genera, and species, each of which is adapted to a particular ecological niche and habitat. In gardens, woodlands, and urban habitats, terrestrial snails, such as the garden snail Cornu aspersum and the Roman snail Helix pomatia, are common inhabitants. They play important roles in the cycling of nutrients and the ecology of the soil in these environments. Freshwater snails, such as the pond snail, limnady, and the ramshorn snail Planormity, are able to flourish in bodies of water such as lakes, rivers, and wetlands. These snails serve as excellent indicators of the quality of the water and the overall health of the ecosystem. The cone snail Conida and the nudibranchia are two examples of marine snails that can be found in the oceans and coral reefs. These snails display an incredible variety of colors, shapes, and behaviors. There are a variety of anatomical adaptations that snails have developed in order to accommodate their varied lifestyles and environments. One of the most defining characteristics of snails is their coiled shell, which is a calcareous structure that is secreted by the mantle and serves to protect the snail from potential threats such as desiccation, predators, and hazardous environmental conditions. The shells of different species are characterized by differences in their size, shape, and coloration, which are a result of adaptations to certain ecological situations. Snails have a distinctive body plan that is defined by a muscular foot, visceral mass, and mantle chamber. This is the internal structure of the snail. Locomotion, grasping surfaces, and digging into substrates are all functions that are performed by the foot, which is a specialized structure. There are critical organs located within the visceral mass, such as the digestive, circulatory, and reproductive systems. The mantle cavity is where the gills or lungs are located, depending on whether the snail is aquatic or terrestrial. There is a wide variety of eating behaviors and dietary preferences that are displayed by snails. These behaviors and preferences range from herbivory and detritivory to carnivory and omnivory. Terrestrial snails use their radula, which is a structure that resembles a rasping tongue, to scrape and shred food particles while they feed on vegetation, algae, fungi, and decomposing organic waste. Certain species, such as the predatory cone snails, are able to trap and immobilize their prey by injecting venomous harpoons through a specialized proboscis at the appropriate time. Algae, plankton, debris, and small invertebrates are the types of food both freshwater and marine snails consume. Their feeding techniques are very similar. The ramshorn snail and the pond snail are examples of filter-feeding snails. These snails use their gills or ciliated structures to collect suspended particles from the water column. On the other hand, carnivorous snails, such as the whelk, buccinidae, and the moon snail, naticidae, feed on bivalves, gastropods, and other mollusks. The methods of reproduction utilized by snails are highly variable from species to species, with many of them displaying intricate life cycles that include both sexual and asexual reproduction. The vast majority of snails are hermaphroditic, meaning that they have both male and female reproductive organs. This genetic makeup enables them to engage in reciprocal mating with other people. Eggs are laid by snails in gelatinous capsules or mucus cocoons after they have mated. These capsules or cocoons are placed in damp, protected areas to prevent the eggs from drying out and being eaten by predators. Certain species, such as the Roman snail, are known to bury their eggs in the soil or leaf litter, whilst other species, such as the pond snail, are known to attach their eggs to rocks or vegetation that become submerged. Prior to attaining reproductive age, hatchlings are small duplicates of adults that emerge from their eggs. They go through a period of growth and development before achieving their full potential. Environmental cues, including as temperature, humidity, and photoperiod, have the ability to impact the timing of reproduction in certain species. This can result in synchronized mating sessions and oscillations in population size. In addition to their functions as food sources for predators, decomposers of organic matter, and markers of environmental quality, snails serve critical roles in the functioning of ecosystems and the cycling of nutrients. However, snails are threatened with extinction by a wide variety of factors, such as the destruction of their habitat, pollution, climate change, and the introduction of exotic species. A substantial danger to terrestrial and freshwater snail populations is posed by the destruction of habitat, which is caused by urbanization, agriculture, and deforestation. This destruction causes habitats to become fragmented and reduces the amount of resources that are accessible. The contamination of streams and the disruption of aquatic ecosystems caused by pollution originates from agricultural runoff, industrial discharge, and home chemicals. This pollution has an impact on snail populations as well as the animals and flora that are linked with them. These issues are made worse by climate change, which causes changes in temperature and precipitation patterns, disrupts breeding cycles, and affects the habitat suitability of snails. Desiccation, heat stress, and a reduction in the availability of food are all potential outcomes of rising temperatures and variations in rainfall, particularly for animals that live in terrestrial and freshwater environments. In addition, invasive species represent a threat to native snail populations because they compete for resources, prey on individuals who are susceptible, and introduce illnesses and parasites. It is possible for the introduction of non-native snails, such as the gigantic African land snail Achatina fulica, to have disastrous effects on the ecosystems of the area. These snails have the potential to outcompete native species and upset the ecological balances that exist. It is necessary to make efforts to conserve snails and the habitats in which they live in order to preserve biodiversity, maintain the stability of ecosystems, and ensure ecological resilience. The preservation of key habitats, the restoration of ecosystems that have been degraded, and the mitigation of the effects of human activities are all goals addressed by conservation strategies, which include habitat protection, restoration, and management programs. Education and outreach programs enhance awareness about the significance of snail conservation and promote sustainable practices among policymakers, landowners, and the general public. These programs also encourage sustainable policies and practices. Volunteers are encouraged to participate in monitoring and research projects as part of citizen science activities. These projects provide essential information regarding snail populations, distributions, and ecological interactions. For the purpose of safeguarding snails and their habitats from illicit collection, habitat damage, and pollution, legislation and enforcement measures are also extremely important. Protecting fragile snail populations and the ecosystems that are connected with them can be accomplished through the establishment of protected areas, the implementation of land use zoning, and the enforcement of restrictions regarding pollution and resource exploitation. In conclusion, snails are extraordinary animals that have a long and illustrious history of evolution and play important roles in the ecological system. With a better understanding of their biology, ecology, and conservation requirements, we can collaborate to ensure that snails will continue to flourish in the natural environments in which they were originally found. We have the ability to conserve these wonderful creatures and the ecosystems that they inhabit by working together and practicing responsible stewardship. This will allow us to maintain the health of our planet for future generations and contribute to the preservation of biodiversity. Embrace the hidden world of snails. Together, let's unravel their mysteries and safeguard their future. Join us in celebrating the remarkable legacy of snails and the vital role they play in shaping our ecosystems. Together, let's pave the way for a future where humans and snails coexist in harmony, fostering biodiversity and stewardship of our natural world. Please subscribe, like, and share this video to spread awareness about the importance of snail conservation and sustainable habitat management. Take action today to support initiatives that protect snails and preserve their unique ecosystems. In your community, together, we hold the power to make a lasting impact for snails and the planet.